Okay, I just sent a text to my daughter. Good morning, beautiful. And look at what happened here. Metro now it was interrupting the text. And it says that I've used up the data. I did not. But it's stating that I used up data immediately when I try to send my daughter a text. Why am I recording this? Because someone is jealous of my relationship with my daughter and buying off a lot of people, interrupting texts and all kind of things, which I have been reporting years with no consequences for these people. None. She witnessed my foster brother screaming in terror by the police department arresting her mom for profit. At age 8, she's 13. They can't get their story straight. All kinds of forgery, fraud, all kinds of crimes with courts, CPS, the police department with no consequences. Blatant lies. And they can't get their story straight, so they call the marshals, they call security, and a multitude of people to enforce criminal activity because someone is petty and is jealous of the relationship with my children and get away with it year after year. Since CPS workers had no regard for a family and a child's life, a multitude of workers could care less for profit of their position and their oath that they took to protect families and children. They will not abide by the law, period. I did the picket, and then police came to interrupt that. So having to endure all the chaos I endure, I have to have the painful experience of not having any access to my children by the government and their corruption and sadistic behavior they repetitively is ignored with no consequences. To the degree of me texting my child, and someone's jealous of that and interrupts it. I said that the data used to shut off, the text and all of that used to shut off completely. Just simply texting my child. Then they have concocted this fictitious supervised visit thing out of corruption and will not give me that. And was so sadistic they tried to enforce no contact period, no text, no talking. What judge in their right mind would torment and torture a child and deprive them of the only parent that they knew with an absent dad that was not even paying child support? But for profit, they go ahead and pry the child away from her mom that was already traumatized and witnessed police violate and arrest her mom for profit and has not had access to her ever since. The abuse is so extreme, even tried to enlist a child to cover up for the government's crimes. At one point, I did not hear from her a whole year, and then she was talking to me, bullying me. The stepmom, I believe the stepmom enticed her to do it. It was not her behavior. And then she was covering for the false arrest. It said, I saw you assault the officer and evade arrest. They didn't put that in there in the rep sheet. They lied and said I assaulted and evaded arrest. And the very defense attorney that I had, court-appointed attorney, the very court-appointed attorney allowed the parties that falsely accused me to be on stand. I said, ma'am, I don't think that would be very productive or make a lot of sense. If they already have committed perjury and made other false statements, why would you want to hear their statement? So the judge, my defense attorney or the attorney was setting me up, the public defender, as well as all of them in this chaos. Multiple times, I could not even appear at court. They were so corrupt. So for years, I have been begging to have access to my daughter with a YouTube channel, and I can't. And they got away with it with my son, and I was the legal custodial parent. And they would not enforce the custody agreement, period. So since they would not enforce it, period, I went up to his school, withdrew my legal custodial child. The basketball game would come over. I volunteered a lot in the community. I hid Easter eggs with events, all kinds of things in the community. They absolutely knew who I was. And it did all kinds of things for, it was a blatant lie, but they stated that they did not know if I was a parent. So I got the custodial agreement because the blatant lie is that they didn't know if I was a parent trying to withdraw my child from school. Then they concocted a criminal trespass from my son's school because I would eat lunch with him, go to his games. They didn't want me to have anything to do with my child. So to keep me from my child, they gave me illegal criminal trespass from my son's school, preventing me from having any access with my legal custodial child. and got away with it for years. So I call, panicking, trying to see what was going on with my child. They hang up in my face, mistreat me, transfer me, do all kind of things. So I called the police department. And in fact, when I was arrested in Itasca, they were setting me up then for trying to have access to my child and then lied about a CPS case. So to cover for that lie, they had the CPS worker and Mockingbird lie to cover for that. I mean, this is a big conspiracy of liars and crimes, felonies racked up with no consequences. I'd like to have value and see my child. I'd like for the government to stop breaking the law and have access to my child. Each day I beg for it. She was a vulnerable state at age 8. She is now 13, and these people are still getting away with these crimes. The same person, September 24, 2011, had bruises on her. February 2018, she sat on her and she could not breathe and hit her with the metal part of the belt. Then they arrested me in April 2018. The hit with the metal part of the belt was February of 2018. They arrested me April 28th or 29th of 2018. She witnessed that, and they've been scheming ever since. Then she stated someone hit her April of 2022. A multitude of people can't get their story straight. The courts, CPS, and the police department cover and enforce the abuse, which is criminal, and have yet to rack up this multitude of felonies that they have committed, felony crimes they have committed with no consequences. I think it's a bit extreme to put me on supervised visits for 2 hours a week and then deny me even access to those and repetitively get away with it. Then so sadistic, you put in an agreement that you don't even want us to have contact over the phone and text. To further, put salt on the wound and violate my family for profit. So you saw me at CPS trying to picket. You see the abuse with the cyberbullying, which is criminal. Cyberbullying is a crime. But when police set it up, they cover for it. So my abuser did communicate with me on multiple fake pages, so that way he can go on under the radar. I didn't know what was going on. And I still don't, because this has been going on a long time. I have no clue if I met him. I don't know if someone set me up to meet him and, blamed. I have no clue. But I wish someone figured it out. I miss my child as well as all my children. I'd like to have a normal life and have access to my kids without law enforcement committing crimes to keep me away from my family for profit.